What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so shout out to the brother Ticket TV. He already broke this news a while ago on a live stream. So shout out to Ticket TV. And if you're not subscribed to Ticket TV, please subscribe to Ticket TV. So Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers could miss another 3 weeks and beyond with the injury that he suffered last month. I think it was mid-February when he suffered the injury. It was announced February the 19th that he would be out until the middle of March, upon which he'd be reevaluated. He has since been reevaluated, and it has been said he'll be out until sometime in April. All right. So the actual quote from the Lakers is that, or the quote from Yahoo Sports from Chris Haynes via Lakers. The sources inform Yahoo Sports that Davis could be sidelined for the next 3 weeks and possibly beyond. The Lakers will be overly cautious in their approach to working Davis back, even at the cost of slippage in the standings, which has occurred. Davis has already missed the past month due to his calf injury. The Lakers originally announced on February 19th that he would be out 4 weeks as a result of that injury. 3 weeks after that original announcement, the Lakers said the eight-time All-Star would sit out at least 2 more weeks. The team did note that he had progressed to the next phase of his rehab process, but doctors will reevaluate him at the end of March. Losing Davis has had a profound effect on the Lakers. The NBA champions were 21-7 through February 14 with him on the court, but they have gone 4-6 in 10 games without him since that point. The Lakers still have LeBron James to run things on both sides of the ball, but Davis's absence has shown a light on how important he is to their success this season. Davis is averaging 22.5 points on 53.3% shooting and 8.4 rebounds per game and 23 appearances this season. So basically, what I get from this is that okay, the Lakers are 21-7, were 21-7 prior to his injury, and now they are 31-13. And that's still a very good seeding. I think if it had gotten to the point where it was in crisis mode, let's say they were 1-9 or 2-8, then and the Lakers were not looking good in most of these games, then maybe they would have pushed AD to come back a little sooner, maybe in 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know. But I think this is a combination of two things. The Lakers are still a relatively high seed, and the Lakers are one of those teams that could actually win on the road in a playoff series, even in a series where they don't have home court advantage. The Lakers are a championship level team with AD, hopefully, and they're a type of team that can win on the road. So even if they aren't exactly the first or second seed, they could still be a championship team. So I think it's partially that, and I think they're trying to be extra cautious with Anthony Davis. Okay, number one, Davis has a history of injury problems. Okay, that's been well documented. Number two, everybody that has observed basketball the last 2 years remembers the Kevin Durant debacle. Okay, there was a lot of pressure. A lot of it came from the media. Okay, and supposedly from his teammates. I don't know if that was, uh, you know, if that was exaggerated by the media, but a lot of pressure came from the media for KD to come out and to contribute to the Warriors. He did come out eventually in the NBA Finals, and we know what happened. He pushed his body further than what it was willing to do, and he suffered an Achilles rupture. Kevin Durant, prior to that, did not really have a history of injury history. AD has. Another thing that's kind of a trend lately. It seems like a lot of guys who suffer one injury and they work very, very hard, maybe too hard, to come back from that injury. And maybe unconsciously they're compensating that injury by using one leg or leaning on one leg or shifting their body weight to one side of their body too much, whatever. And we're noticing that a lot of these guys, while they're rehabbing from one injury, now suffer another injury, subsequent injury, from overcompensation to the other side of their body, or another part of their body similar in location. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that with DeMarcus Cousins, and we've seen that with Klay Thompson. I think right now the Lakers are playing cautiously. Okay, they're looking at the long term rather than the right now. Um, I've been looking at the reaction of Laker fans. Most of them seem to be understanding what you know the organization is doing. There are a couple of extreme LeBron fans who are cussing out AD for fucking up LeBron getting his fifth ring, and those type of people, man, they're not really basketball fans. They're don't get me wrong, they're a small minority, but they are what's wrong with sports. You know what I'm saying? They're exactly one of the problems that we have in sports. Okay. Uh, but I don't have a problem with what the Lakers are doing. Okay. Um, I haven't looked at their schedule, but you know what I'm saying? If the Lakers can just look, let me see. The Lakers are 31 and 13, I think, right? If the Lakers can go the next 10 games 6-4 or even 7-3, that's an accomplishment. 500 is pushing it, but 6-4, if they can make some type of target, in that way, that's good. 4-6 or 3-7, you're losing a lot of ground. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not sure, but I get this feeling like the Lakers' earlier part of the season might have been easier from just remembering some of the games they played. So I don't know exactly what games are like. Like I said, I haven't really looked at the schedule like that. But you don't want to fall so far behind in seeding, you know, that you're like the fourth seed or something like that. I mean, you're kind of pushing your luck historically with that. Um, and another thing too, there's this aspect or angle you gotta look at. On the one end, you don't want AD to suffer any unnecessary injury risk. But on the other hand, you don't want him to come back in a situation in the playoffs. Remind you now, this is a guy that if he comes back in April, if he come back for the playoffs, he hasn't played a meaningful regular season game in almost three months by that time. Let me see, February, March, April, 2 months, and now he's in the playoffs. So you do wonder, you know, could even be to a point where he's hurting the team because he's not comfortable yet playing his game and he's thinking about too many things out there and he's hurting the team, he's being detrimental. So these are some things they gotta look for. These are some things they gotta look out for. If it was me, I would try to bring AD back a couple of games before the beginning of the playoffs. Just to get him acclimated to the offense, get a feel for things, especially if the Lakers bring in let's say they do bring in another guy. I don't want to speculate who, right? Let's say they do bring in another player right now. One of these guys is speculated. I want AD to get accustomed to playing with this guy or playing with his team, not just bring him in the playoffs all of a sudden like it's a NBA 2K game, and you know that's just me. But tell me what you guys think.